Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to Metroid Prime, and we're in the depths of the Chozo ruins, trying to find our way to whatever has been poisoning the place and filling it with toxic water. We need to outmaneuver whatever is causing that toxic atmosphere and destroy it and bring peace back to the Chozo ruins for now. You are supposed to think that whatever is causing this is the source of the great poison. There's a weirdly pulsating flower. This is our boss fight. Get ready to confront Flagra. This mutated menace will require plenty of skills, but we can also scan its root systems. Don't forget that. One of Flagra's tentacles fills this narrow drainage channel. Analysis indicates that Flagra's central nervous system is located at the base of this structure. Another big, ugly thing itself. A giant mutated plant insect thing. Morphology: Flagra. This mutant plant is the source of toxic water in the ruins. Flagra's growth cycle has been radically accelerated. As a result, it requires near constant exposure to solar energy to remain active. This exposure has made Flagra's outer shell thick and durable. Its lower root system is unprotected and vulnerable, however. Exploit this flaw when possible. Concentrated weapon fire can daze it for short periods. So you can start by shooting missiles at it. You have to shut down those mirrors and it will topple over and the tentacles will disappear. Roll down here and bomb it and set it on fire. It'll come back and it will keep increasing the number of mirrors it knocks down. So you will have to plan very carefully to wind up disabling it and taking out the mirrors. So wait for those to go away. A really good trick is to lock onto Flagra and strafe very quickly, getting your charge beam ready, because it puts you at just... It can put you at just the right height to wind up shooting those mirrors. You also won't wind up falling into the deep poisonous water during this. Normally it's a fair bit deeper, but if you do fall in, you'll be able to jump out, because otherwise you'd be a bit stuck. Alright, probably didn't do this the best possible way. But quickly strafe around, use your new charge beam very well. Stun it. See where it topples over. And... Alright, one more. Now plan our attacks. Basically, plan your path so that you can easily access the drainage channels and bomb it. Flagra is not an overly difficult fight as long as you remember to use your charge beam. Your charge beam is going to be vital, especially in this stage. Okay, so I want to knock... Alright, so I've knocked the first mirror down. One more to go. That should do it. Get in there and destroy the last one, and after taking care of all four, Flagra will be terminated. The poisonous water will be purified as that putrid plant perishes. However, the door we came through remains locked. We cannot get through it because, unfortunately, the vines that shot at us have sealed it. I'll take you over to it and we'll have a look. You can scan the door lock there if you want. Don't know if Flagra drops any pickups. I never know where they are. So this is going to remain sealed until we come back later. We cannot access it via the Arboretum. We'll have to come back later through this room here, and that is when we will wind up fighting the Chozo ghosts, as mentioned in the artifact lore we acquired. So with Flagra done and dusted, we get our fancy little symbol. Yep, it's time. Cue the heat protection. Cue the giant shoulders. Float into the air. T-pose to assert dominance. And we get some cool new threads. The Varia suit has always looked awesome, with the exception of Metroid Fusion, where it looks like somebody puked. We unfortunately do not get the giant shoulders, but that is a necessity of the game. And the gravity suit always looks awesome. Varia suit acquired. Dangerous areas of heat are now accessible. So we might as well read up on it. The Varia suit adds increased heat resistance to the power suit. We also take 10% less damage. This modification increases the suit's defensive shielding. While the Varia suit can handle higher temperatures than normal, extreme heat sources and heat-based attacks will still cause damage. So basically, don't jump into lava. So we can go underwater in this bit, but we really can't see much and we can't jump very well. Now, if we go through here, we can bust up some boxes and scan these, which are ultra energy. If you got knocked around by Flagra, we replenish 100 units of energy. They're a bit stingy on the missiles, though. We're also going to encounter a new enemy, which is the Pulse Bomber. Life form of raw energy periodically releases explosive segments. Pulse bombers are energy beings invulnerable to most known weapons. Electrical energy can harm them, however. They lack any intelligence beyond an instinctive attraction to other charged energy sources. Pulse bombers produce energy constantly. All excess energy is shared regardless of who or what may be nearby. So, missiles bounce off. Power beams bounce off. Charge, and you'll pull them towards you. So we can't do anything to it yet. Now, we can roll down here. We don't have the spider ball, so we just have to drop past our enemies. Take out a horde of wasps. There are 4 war wasp hives in here and some lore, which is... well, the lore's good, the wasps aren't. Jerks. Didn't leave anything for me. So, our Chozo lore.
Recorded to logbook.
The cries of this dying land echo in our ears as we Chozo watch the great poison seep ever further into the living pulse of the planet. The dark energy sinks into the trees and waters, devouring all life. Peaceful beasts die by the thousands. Some creatures survive, but their forms grow as twisted and evil as the force that fell from the sky. Many of these mutated monstrosities remain small enough to do little harm, but others grow enormous and threaten our very existence. One such beast defiles our sacred fountain, disgorging poison from its foul form, replacing pure flowing water with cascades of creeping death. Even in the face of such horror, we Chozo do not turn in fear. We are all that stands in the way of this great poison, and it is our duty to contain it. So, that hits you with the realization that it's not Flagra. That isn't the great poison, but a symptom of it. And it's a bit astonishing. So you're realizing, oh, this is actually worse than we thought. So we've cleared everything out here. We can now head down to Magmoor Caverns. We'll explore this area a bit, and if I can find a good handy save station, then that might be a good place to stop. So there is one near the start, but I want to keep going. Music in this little bit is wonderfully ominous. You're still going through ancient ruins, things that were built by the Chozo. There's the comfort of a save station if you need it. Barrages upon barrages of shriek bats. And this thing. This is the Grisby, subvolcanic carrion feeder. Carapace can be breached by missiles. The Grisby's carapace has been fused together by superheated air. This barrier stands up to everything but concussive blasts. Its intelligence is limited to instinctive scavenging patterns. So you want to deal with it, drop a missile on it. We're making our way through, and we do get some pretty neat music. Those flamethrowers can't be scanned, but it's only really limited to this particular area, which is kind of disappointing because it feels like just as atmospheric as the main Norfair theme from the original. I mean, Super. It feels as atmospheric as Super's Norfair theme. The burrower, a tunneling insect predator. Similar to the beetle, though it spends more time underground. It seeks seismic disturbances, then surfaces to attack. It has enough cunning to realise when something is too large for it to handle. Beyond that, it is fairly ignorant. What it lacks in brains, it makes up for with aggression. It probably sums up a lot of people. So we've got this music that sounds like Norfair. At least the original Metroid's Norfair theme is pretty good. I do really like that, and I do actually like the Zero Mission version of it too. Not so much the version they put in Brawl, that kind of sucked. But you have this atmospheric music, and it's like, is it going to continue? But then you walk through here. The Magmoor, the titular, I think it's pronounced titular, but that always sounds odd to me. But anyway, it is a fire-breathing serpent that dwells in lava. Magmoors prefer extreme heat zones and are susceptible to frigid attack forms. Sightless, they navigate the lava currents using their sonar receptors. Magmoors have a keen sense of smell, enabling them to pinpoint targets with startling accuracy. there are aspects of their design which seem to look similar to Ceres, which is pretty neat. Ceres is my favourite boss fight one of my favourite boss fights in Fusion. Ceres and Nightmare. But how good must it have been for veterans of Super Metroid to walk through here and just hear that drum beat starting up, to recognise the Lower Norfair theme. Of course, I thought of it as being the Magmore Caverns theme because I hadn't played Super, and I was really pleasantly surprised to see, well, hear the theme appearing in Lower Norfair. It's also used as a superheated zone theme in Samus Returns, the remake of Metroid 2. This is essentially the superheated area theme now, but it's awesome. So these things are puffers. Unstable gas-filled organism will rupture on contact. Puffers fill their bodies with lethal metaviprium gas and float about in search of food. If ruptured, the gas within the puffer is violently released. Despite their fragile bodies, puffers are aggressive hunters. The gas cloud they release upon death is often fatal to the creature that brings them down as well. Basically, kind of imagine a coughing with about as much defensive capability as Deoxys' attack form, and you've got a puffer. There are bulls in Super which resemble puffers. Oh, hello. It must have been so wonderful hearing this music. It must have been a big nostalgia trip. Like, I love it when you do get those classic themes from different games returning. Just some of the standards. Like, Kakariko Village's theme has been very consistent over the Zelda series, with the exception of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, understandably so. But even just the little shout-outs to themes like this over the years. Like, there's a really cool aspect with Metroid Prime 3 and a reuse of a certain theme music, which I'll talk about a little bit about later on. Magmore Caverns is like the transit area for Talon 4. You can reach most areas from the Magmore Caverns. This is the Triclops, hard-shelled creature with powerful jaws. The Triclops is a hunter-gatherer. It collects small creatures and bits of foodstuff, then deposits them elsewhere for later consumption. The hard tripartite mandibles it uses to move earth and rock are quite strong and difficult to escape once ensnared. They're not that bright, admittedly. If you can put a morph ball bomb in the right spot, they'll eat it. But yeah, as I was saying, this is like the subway system of Talon 4. You will be able to access various areas from this, but it doesn't actually have its own boss fight. It is believed that it was intended to. But, well, it certainly was intended to originally, but it never got it. Holy cow, just drops 100? I'll take that. Ooh, I'm not going to take that. That would have been a little too explodey for my tastes. Now, where are we going? Yes, we need to go through here because there is, of course, a missile expansion we can get. Avoid the Triclops. Deliver explosive death to these various creatures. Well, that lasted a long time. Honestly. It's a... Oh! Right, I ran right into one. How far... Alright, so that wasn't too much of an issue. But yeah, it's interesting just how much stuff winds up getting wiped out by us. Granted, a lot of it is hostile, but it was an interesting point in Metroid 2, so the atmospheric storytelling. Just making you think, what is the impact of wiping all these out? Like, you're essentially wiping out an apex predator and disrupting a planet's ecosystem. There are lots and lots of aspects of atmospheric storytelling, things like that, the questions that are asked that wound up being so drastically different before a lot of the lore changes in Samus Returns. Well, thank you for carrying me where I need to go. Wow, that's a long ride. Yeah, I do feel that there was something that just... There probably was something about the storytelling in Metroid 2 that really just... It just changed the way you looked at things. Prior to everything we've learned from the previous games, it just brought up some interesting questions. From everything you're doing, the morality of it all, what you're doing to the planet's ecosystem, how heavily that ecosystem is affected as you get deeper into the planet. And there are fewer and fewer enemies that aren't Metroids. Just how strong their presence is as the apex predators. That pretty much nothing survives in their lair because they've devoured all of it. It's fascinating. Alright, so from downtown we face stronger turrets. They now take 2 missiles to wipe out. If you want to get rid of them quickly, tap the A button. Tap the A button and mash the button for firing missiles, and you will be able to shoot them much faster. However, this only really works with the power beam because it's the default configuration and it doesn't actually have to change what it does. You don't have to worry about structure and things shifting around. But I did forget about that one. That's on me. Not the smartest thing, I know, but we can remedy that little bit of damage we've taken. We're nearly through Magmore Caverns first time. We will be able to get a few things here when we've got better equipment, but we can't do much for now. Apart from this, so if we get up here, now those boxes do take damage from your morph ball bombs, so actually having the spring ball is really good. Because otherwise you've really got to time your double jumps, and it's a bit of a pain in the keister. But that energy tank is so easy to miss. So the nice sort of hexagonal formations of volcanic rock. Access to Phendrana Drifts North has been granted. So we are going to wrap things up and prepare for some truly spectacular music. So these are not actually a scan entry. A concussive blast should be able to clear it out of the way, but our charge beam does the job just fine. I'll talk about everything in the next one, but for now we're wrapping it up. I'll give you all the info on the enemies next time, and we can move on. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.